Hey everyone, welcome to this stream. I'm a software engineer. I've been working professionally in the industry for the last 8 years, largely doing full stack development. So what that means is work on the web side of things. So building out websites, product features, and then also working on back-end server architecture, building everything in AWS on the infrastructure side. And recently I have been documenting my game development learning journey, and I've been doing that through streaming. It's been, I think, 3 weeks to the day now that I've been doing this, and it's been kind of a blast so far. So I'm using the Godot open source game engine. I've been using it on and off for the last 4 years, just kind of dabbling in different game development stuff, and recently been trying to push myself to learn more, get a better understanding of, in particular, 2D games. I don't think I'm quite ready to dive into 3D games yet, but I've been building out a playground for myself to test different game features that I might want to implement in the future, and just have a Godot project that's that I'm doing that in. So as I start every stream, I'll walk through the game features that I've built so far. Recently, we've been focused a lot on UI and inventory, and so as you can see, we start ourselves out in a main menu, continue, new game, load game. There are save files. You can delete those save files or load them if you want. If we start a new game, we find ourselves looking top down at a 2D view. You can see a couple of different polygons on the screen here. We have a big red triangle and then some blue circles that are kind of following the player. The debug values are on right now, so I can see kind of hit collision meshes across different characters and player objects, NPCs. In this case, the game is kind of, if you can even call it a game, the main premise right now is that it's nighttime, and so in order to see zombies, so you wouldn't normally see these blue dots, in order to see the zombies, you'd have to turn on your flashlight. So you can see if we hover over them, the zombie appears, and then if you move away, they disappear. Recently, we did some stuff with inventory, so we added our first weapon and kind of weapon system. That's what we've been coding over the last 2 or 3 streams. One of my dogs had a procedure today, and so is feeling a little loopy, so she's in here making noise, but she's so tired. So over the last few streams, I've been working on adding a weapon inventory system for the player. So this means being able to equip weapons, equip ammo specifically for those weapons, and then hook that up to UI and everything. So you can shoot zombies, they fall over. You can open up a dual inventory menu that allows you to drag and drop items. I've added stackable items, so you can drag 2 of the same type on top of each other, and they'll add together. Same thing for this weapon inventory system. So now you can see we have 110 extra ammo in our inventory, and some bugs and weirdness around having multiple weapons, but that's, not a huge deal at the moment. So as you can see in the top left here, we just reloaded, and our the amount of ammo we had decreased, although it did seem like there was maybe a bug there, but I'm not going to worry too much about that at the moment. So the next set of things that I want to focus on, I think I want to have a UI item, like a game UI item that displays what weapon you have equipped. So basically just the name of the equipped weapon. And then I think from there I want to add a non-shooting weapon, so maybe a knife, and then add some keybinds to like swap between weapons and stuff like that. Whoops, hold on one sec. I hear you. Let me pull up the chat. Hey, Copy Multi. I am a software engineer. I'm learning game development, specifically with the Godot game engine. And so I've built myself a little playground that has, that's allowing me to build out some different features and test them so that when I do go to make a game in the future, I have a better understanding of how some different systems work, how I might implement them, that kind of thing. So I built out a relatively basic premise for a game. It's at night. It doesn't really look that dark, but the idea is that it's at night, and as you move around the screen, we should see some zombies appear here in a second if I zoom out. The only way to see a zombie, and debug values are on right now, so that's why you can see this like triangle shape and the circle here. But the only way to see a zombie is to turn on the flashlight. You can shoot them. I've created an inventory system with a weapon inventory system for the player, a dual inventory menu where you can stack items and drag and drop between inventories, as well as a chunking system. So as you move around the screen, chunks get loaded in and out, as do the zombies that are associated with those chunks, and then also a save system. Nice. Glad you stopped by. So I was saying just a moment ago that I think what I'm going to focus on for this stream is implementing a new weapon type that is basically like melee weapons. So just get one melee weapon working, and then from there do one or two more UI things, and then probably start adding some items just to get a better sense of how I would do, like, you know, maybe we'll get into like armor or health items or whatnot. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get started coding here. So we have the concept of a weapon, and the only weapon that we have currently is a rifle. So we have hard-coded essentially a weapon to always have like a magazine size, ammo in a magazine, compatible ammo. Sound range is probably fine. So sound range, I've built a feature where if you shoot a weapon in the game, zombies within a certain distance will start following you. And then like basic functions like shoot and reload, which don't apply to ranged weapons. So I probably want to separate weapon into two delineations, a ranged weapon and a melee weapon. Both will probably have, or both should have damage. Both will have sound range, though melee will be much smaller and shorter than a ranged weapon sound range. And rather than having shoot and reload functions, we probably want to have a base, a base like use weapon, and then specifically on ranged weapons, we can have a reload function, which will just be disabled for melee weapons. So let's go ahead and start making some of these changes. So let's start with a ranged weapon because we've already created a rifle. So we'll say ranged weapon. If we open this up, it extends node, but we actually want it to extend weapon. We're gonna say, let's start pulling some of the items here. So magazine size, ammo, and magazine. Those aren't used anywhere yet. Why is this equals self.mag? Oh, I see. Okay. And you're yelling just because, it already exists in the parent, so we'll worry about that later. Compatible ammo as well can be pulled in. And also we'll just pull the shoot and reload and is ammo compatible functions in as well. Now, we're basically going to get into a state where I'm just decomposing stuff and rebuilding it. And so it's going to be a little bit before we have something working, but I think that's totally fine. So let's start ripping apart the base weapon, because we don't want anything related to ranged weapons in here. Oops. So the rest of these can get deleted. So we will have a base use weapon, and we'll need to figure out what we pass in and what we return. And then I guess we can have a base use reload function as well that gets defined on even melee weapons, but it'll just do nothing. Okay, so a weapon is an item, and it's not always going to take ammo, so we can get rid of that. Actually, let's copy this over real quick. Yeah, what's my background in software engineering and how did I get into game development? So I went to school for software engineering, graduated like 8-9 years ago at this point, and I've been working professionally for the last 8 years doing full stack work. So building out websites, backends for those websites, product features, and using AWS for infrastructure. So I've been doing a lot of software development for the last better part of a decade. And how did I get into game development? I've been playing games my whole life, and it's just been, a passion of mine and an interest. And so I decided recently that I should, sit down and start doing it. And what better way to do it than stream my learning process and how I'm doing everything. So I'm by no means a game development expert, but I'm here trying to learn every day that I stream. Roberto, why Godot? So I haven't messed too much with Unity or Unreal, but several years ago I learned about Godot and then watched a few tutorials on it and just felt like it was easier to learn than Unity or Unreal. And also the fact that it's open source means that you don't have to, like, if you do end up selling games, you don't have to pay anyone anything to do it. And there's really great community support for Godot, and it's awesome supporting community projects. So that's kind of why I chose to go with Godot. But it's been relatively easy to use so far. It's obviously a learning curve, and it's different than other software development, but at the end of the day, you're typing words and files and making things happen, so it's not so different. Okay, so let's see, is there anything else that a weapon should be able to do? We will want to be able to set the damage. So we can make a getter and a setter. We're already doing that for sound range. All right, so let's update ranged weapon here. So it's extending weapon. Cool. So we're actually pretty set here so far. Let's update this to be use weapon. Yeah, no problem. Okay, so we need to have the same return value from I think this is fine. Yeah, let's have the same return value from, and we can basically, I think, do the same very similar ray intersection that we're doing for detecting if a weapon hits with ranged and melee. The melee ones will just be much shorter distance. I mentioned this earlier in the stream, but my dog had some, like, a procedure done and she's very loopy. So I'm just going to be checking on her every like 5 or 10 minutes or so. Okay, so the weapon, use weapon, needs to return a dictionary. So for the moment, we'll just do that. And then user reload returns an integer, which is just the amount that was updated. What's my favorite part of the game development process? I mean, I really have been enjoying just learning something new. It uses a different part of my brain. There's a creative side to it that hasn't really existed for me in like normal software engineering. And so being able to like have an idea for something and code it and be able to like play with it is a bit different. I enjoy front-end engineering, so working on like websites and stuff more than back-end engineering, because I actually get to like interact with what I'm building in a way that you don't if it's just like lines of code. So I think that's where game development as well has been the most fun, is just getting to like mess around with the things that I've built. But really the other 50% fun part is streaming. I've enjoyed like making content historically. Like 10, 11 years ago, maybe 12 years ago at this point, I started a YouTube channel. Actually, this YouTube channel that I'm streaming from. And so you can see a whole bunch of like old, very old Call of Duty and like Xbox One, PlayStation 4 news videos. And so I did that. A few years ago, I made some content around self-driving cars, which was really fun. So I've enjoyed like making videos and doing content stuff, but I've never really tried streaming. And over the last few weeks, I've tried doing it every day. And I've had a lot of people come in and participate and have fun. And so that's the other like 50% that I'm enjoying, is just like doing this live for other people. There's a level of accountability that doesn't really exist if I'm just sitting in my office coding. So it's nice being able to like work on some code, people ask questions, I answer questions. It's like a nice back and forth of getting to do a little coding and then also interacting with other people who are interested in the same stuff that I am. Okay, so where am I using this function? Am I using this function? I don't know if I am. That's okay. Use weapon. What is wrong with you? Doesn't match the parent. Oh no, it does. Now that oh, because I'm not passing in the same parameters. Damn, I've been posting for 11 years. I mean, you know, there was an 8-year hiatus in there, but actually that's not true. At the like 6 months into COVID, so December 2020, a friend of mine and we made some videos around Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War when that came out. And then I did some videos on like Spelunky and Binding of Isaac and maybe even some Rocket League stuff. But those, I set all those to private because I don't know. I thought my earlier stuff was better. That felt more forced. But here I am, making more content. But really making content under the guise that I'm learning game development, or vice versa. Learning game development under the guise that I'm making content. I don't know. Either way, it's fun. All right, what are you? What's wrong with you? Oh, there we go. Okay, so I don't think I need to do anything here. So really what we're doing is we're just creating an abstraction from weapon to ranged weapon, but we're not actually going to call this the parent function here, because I don't think there's anything I want to do on a base weapon that I'm not going to be doing on like the child class. So I think we can leave it like that. And does reload? Oh, ammo available. So we also have to use reload. Ammo available. It's an integer. Okay. So that should work. Now we need to go into our rifle definition and update. It doesn't extend weapon, it extends ranged weapon. And so we need to then implement use weapon and use reload. Is get sound range being used anywhere? I'm not sure, but I'm gonna delete it for the moment and just use the actual getter setter. Oops. What did I do up here? What in the world is going on? Extends ranged weapon, could not find base, oh, because I need to add a class name for ranged weapon. That should be good. Okay, super.shoot. Actually, now that I think about it, I do think a lot of this calculation should be on the parent, because we want to do this and just change the distance. So hold on. So actually, let's take a step back here. So we don't need this. We don't want that. That can happen on the weapon itself. What is super.shoot? Did I just lose all of the... I feel like I lost all of the calculations for this somehow. All right, let me go back it up quite a bit and just make sure I... Ah. Okay, so this actually I want to keep here real quick. Let's go forward. Hey, Distant, how's it going? Welcome back for the, what is this, third day in a row? Okay, so all of this array parameter stuff is what we want. Now is any of this, I'm trying to think if any of this is like ranged specific or if it's all I mean, this stuff is obviously range specific. Let's see. What am I using? Oh, okay, so I'm just getting the intersection there. So actually, that's just gonna be this. So intersection will be that. We can get rid of that. And then so that isn't necessary. Oh no, that is necessary if self.ammo and magazine is less than or equal to 0. Okay, so I think we can actually do. This is all fine technically. I don't know if intersection is really needed beyond, but basically in the ranged weapon, we want to check if ammo is greater than 0 and then start the animation. And then we want to get the calculation. Actually, maybe we don't. Maybe we can just leave that up to the base weapon and say super.useWeapon and pass in mouse position, player global position, and space state. And then the other thing that we want to have is the max distance, because we don't want that to be something related to the base weapon. We want that to be related to the weapon itself. So a ranged weapon. Oh wait, I'm getting myself all mixed up here. Hold on. Wait, I've been doing all the wrong stuff in... Hold up. Let's go back a sec here. Okay, so ranged weapon. So what ranged weapon is gonna do is, I think, that'll, ooh, okay. I got myself all confused. So the base, what does the base rifle itself need to control? Probably animation. So it can handle its projectile shoot animation. And then I don't really want it to always implement the like damage here, but if there was an intersection, we want to place the splash animation. Now we want to call the parent use weapon, and then we don't need to do this because this can all be done in the base weapon. So let's update this to emit shoot weapon, which we'll have to fix in a bit elsewhere. Anything that's connecting to this. But oh wait, that actually doesn't even happen in the rifle itself. That shouldn't be here. So this all happens in the ranged weapon. Cool. So actually, I don't even think this needs to happen. Here, does it? I think we can check that in the parent. So we'll actually hold on. So we might want on a ranged weapon a function called can use weapon. Just checking on my dogs again. Which returns a Boolean, which so if we basically say if self dot ammo and magazine is less than or equal to 0, return false, otherwise return true. And so then we'll say if self dot can use weapon, if not self dot can use weapon, then we just return. We'll maybe have to do a different return value here. Figure out if this needs to be something else, but we'll deal with that in a little bit. Okay, so in this we want to this will handle animations. And passing sound range into the parent use weapon. But I think that's all that needs to happen here. And that is all that's happening here. And actually sound range, oh no, sorry, not sound range. The passing, I guess, weapon range. Oh wait, no, that should happen. That should be a value here. Again, I'm getting myself all mixed up. Okay, so let's call it weapon range. This will be an integer. We'll just initialize it to 10,000 for the moment. Our getter, we return weapon range, and our setter, we set it. Okay, so up here we want to say, what are the things we want to set? So we have damage. Well, let me set that. Okay, so we'll just say self.damage equals 1, even though that's the default. Self.weapon range equals 10,000, even though that's also the default. And then we also want to set sound range. I was looking at your 11-year-old stuff for a while. You were a hardcore gamer even at that time, and now you're developing games. I can't express how much you're motivating others. Really salute you, sir. Thanks, Copy. Those are really kind words. I don't take that lightly. It really, makes me feel all tingly inside. But yeah, I'm having fun. It's a good time. And I'd really recommend programming, software engineering for anyone out there who, really everyone should learn a little bit at least. You don't have to go full-fledged game development or even full-fledged software engineering, but there's plenty of stuff that you can apply it to in everyday life. My voice is very low. Are you sure? Because is your YouTube low? Because I think everything's solid. Can anyone verify that? Corroborate? Because everything on my end is saying that it's fine. But if it's that, like, the music's too loud and my voice is too low. I can also bring the mic closer to my face. But, like, audio levels on both my interface and OBS seem to suggest they're okay. Let me know. And if not, I can turn up my volume a little bit. But I felt like in some of my older streams, they're too... It's good? Okay. Either way, I'll adjust my mic just a bit. Okay, where were we? We were initializing different values. I think that should be fine. Do we need to return? Yes, we need to return something here. So in player, when we're calling, what is it? Shoot or weapon. So reload. Okay, weapon.shoot. This isn't going to be valid anymore. You're a Flutter developer now, learning data science and plan to do TypePy in future too. Any experienced advice? Is Flutter, I think someone was mentioning this in one of my streams a couple weeks ago. Is Flutter like a serverless? It's an open source UI software. Oh, interesting. Huh, I can't say I've ever really seen this before. But it seems a bit like Google's response to iOS or Apple's like Xcode, Swift, Objective-C. Although maybe you're able to make iOS apps with it. Yeah, you can. Interesting. Gotcha. So it's like probably like React Native as well, which is another like app development platform. You said you're a Flutter developer, learning data science, plan to do, what is TypePy? Can't say I know what that is either. Python data and AI web applications. This must be relatively new. Cool. Some nice visualization stuff here. Oh, I like these maps. That's cool. Any experienced advice? Really, I just say go build stuff. I've spent so much of my career, like, I find it really hard having a full-time job and doing outside coding work, because if I'm coding all day every day and then outside of work I'm also coding, it's like you never get a break. But that's also meant gotcha. So okay, so Flutter's a bit more, can be used for more things than just React Native. It's really hard to want to motivate to do any kind of coding outside of work, like at the end of the day. But I've also spent the last 8 years not really focused on like projects and things that I want to do and learn. And, a few weeks ago I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna focus on game development, try to learn it as best as I can. And the way that I found to keep myself accountable is streaming. So I'd say figure out the way that makes you accountable to learning some of these new technologies, and then learn them, and then apply them to a project, and then go interview for those skills, and then it just kind of the ball keeps rolling from there. But anything you're doing that's moving you towards learning something new or a new goal it's good for you. It makes you smarter. It makes you a more well-rounded person. And I'd say go for it. Okay, so we've got some issues in player because this weapon doesn't have a shoot function anymore, at least that I'm aware of, because it's all use weapon now. You're a student doing Bachelor in Science in IT, 2 years remaining for your degree, doing Flutter as a part-time job, 4 to 5 hours a day. Yeah, I mean, that's a great thing to do. It's hard to work while you're also going to school, but if you can do it and manage it, and it'll just, give you a head start for time out of school, like once you finish school. Okay, where was I? Okay, so we've got this base use weapon function on the base weapon, which handles the physics ray stuff that detects where bullets go, and will ultimately detect melee weapons too. So we want to return, like we were returning before, the intersection, which is intersection, and then success, which I guess in this case is always going to be true. So I guess it's fine for now. We don't want to do any animation stuff. And so it's fine for the moment to handle this damage taking here. We will want to update that, but we're going to instead do self.damage. So that'll change some things. Your prior focus is learning and want to enter big tech after your degree. That's why you're learning DSA too. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of money to be made in big tech, and a lot of interesting problems to work on as well. I'd also, so over the course of my career, I've worked at a lot of different companies, as small as 3-person startups, and then all the way up to 25,000 person companies with 4,000 engineers. And at the beginning of my career was like very small startups, and I feel like I learned a lot there, built up a lot of the skills that I needed later to work at some of the bigger companies. And there's just so much when you're working in a small company. There's so much, you have so much responsibility and so many things. You just need to like put on a hat that says, I'm gonna learn whatever's necessary for this day to like get the company through it, and you just figure stuff out. And so there's a lot to be gained there. And for me, it was invaluable. And now I'm back at working at smaller companies, and just because I like that pace a little more than bigger companies. But some people love big companies, and that's great as well. I find myself enjoying the like autonomy and working on like lots of different stuff more than I do at bigger companies. Again, not to say there's anything wrong with working at a big company. There's plenty of fun to be had there and things to learn as well. Okay, so I think this function should be fine, although max distance, we actually want like weapon range. Oh wait, is that? Weapon range should be on. Should be on the base weapon. Oh my god, I'm getting myself so confused here. Okay, hold on. I think here we want to return super dot use weapon. Pass in the same stuff. So that's fine. What did you say? Yeah, that's so true. Here's a famous saying: enter a startup as a front end and leave as a full stack engineer and whatnot. For me, it was actually the opposite. Start as a back end, leave as a full stack, and now on the other side, I enjoy front end work so much more than back end. I'll do full stack if I have to, but if I had it my way, I'd just work on building like front end features, which is again why I think I'm interested in game development, because it feels like a lot of front end. Okay, so we got the super.use weapon goes to ranged weapon, which just checks if there's ammo in the magazine, which just then calls super use weapon, which is this use weapon. And so we do want to move weapon range into the parent, because even if it's a melee weapon, there will still be some range associated with the weapon. Let's lower some of these base values. Okay. Now everything is an item. And so we're doing the like ray handling on the base weapon. We're checking in ranged weapon if there's ammo in the magazine. Oh, and I guess also we want to, I deleted this somewhere, didn't I? I had a whole thing about ammo being used. So let me just back up this real quick and find that, because I think I copied it over here. No, I didn't. Okay, so I'm gonna have to think back this up to find it. Yes, okay. So this needs to, oops, this needs to go back in ranged weapon because we do want that to be ammo to go down. You have such a huge experience. Why don't you develop a project? I mean, no offense to Job, but if the project clicked, I mean, then you can do whatever. I don't know. Maybe it sounds a little delusional. No. I mean, it's easier said than done, unfortunately. And that's kind of why I'm like getting into game development. It's like, you know, if it goes somewhere, then great. If not, then I've learned something new and I've had fun doing it. I would totally start a company if I had an idea that like really clicked with me. Hey, humble dude, how's it going? I would start a company if I had an idea that clicked with me and sounded interesting. But so far, nothing's really clicked that way. And so for now, you know, I'm focusing on other stuff like my career, learning game development, my family, my dogs, and just kind of like getting all that settled and in order. And then if one day an idea comes to me or an opportunity presents itself where I can create an idea, what am I doing here? I am so I'm learning game development, specifically in the Godot open source game engine, and I am building myself a playground to test features for a game that I might want to build in the future. I'm at a point at the moment where I've kind of been doing more talking than coding, so I'm redesigning. I'm adding another layer to kind of the weapon abstraction here. Thanks, Jamshade. I appreciate that. Glad you had fun here. So I'm building myself a game development playground that lets me test different features. And right now I'm reworking some of the weapon system so that there's a delineation between a ranged weapon and a melee weapon. So I can't show off the game. But if you go back to like any of my other streams or even the beginning of this stream, the first like 2 or 3 minutes, I give a demo of what I've worked on and built so far, and then what I plan to work on during the stream. So I'm just, once I get this fixed, which shouldn't be too much longer, then I can give another demo for everyone who's joined since then. So we need to return this. Oops. So we'll say result equals super.useWeapon, and we'll return result. Although I'm realizing I don't think this is actually going to be used anywhere. That's fine. But at least now we have it so that, wait, are these signals? No, these signals emit shoot weapon. Instead of emit shoot weapon, let's say emit use weapon. And these will be signals on, where did they end up? Did I just full on delete them? I may have fully deleted them as I was moving stuff around. So these will be on a base weapon that just gets triggered when a weapon is used. So signal emit use weapon. And here I'm passing in ammo and magazine. I don't think that's necessary. I actually don't even think. Now I'm wondering where I'm connecting this to. Connect. Not even connecting there. Is it like in game UI? Emit. So like user reload. I don't know that I'm actually even. Oh, maybe it used to be use projectile. I don't know. These signals might not even be necessary. I don't feel like they probably are. So let's not worry about that. It can probably be handled elsewhere. So let's focus on getting reload working here. So that is all of this logic, which is not specific to a rifle. So all we need to do is, I think, just actually change this to use reload, and that should be fine. Nothing specific to a rifle. Could be one day, if we had timers or something. Just checking on my dog again. I mentioned this earlier, but she had just a small procedure earlier, and so she's kind of loopy from what they gave her, but she's doing all right. Okay, that's all settled. So if we go to the player, I know we're definitely going to have other issues, but where we have the shoot, wait, are we even using these anymore? No, we're not. Add weapon splash animation. Is this getting called from anywhere? I don't think this is even getting called. I think that's happening in the weapon itself. Like in the ranged weapon. Or, no, in the rifle. What I'm doing... Oh, no, it is. Add weapon... Oh, I see. Okay, we're calling that on the player. That's weird. Okay. This is still being used in the explicit weapons. Use weapon call. Okay, so where we say shoot... we will update, whoops, this to be use weapon. So self.use weapon. And while we're here, let's just say self dot for all of these. Okay, so we've got the use weapon function on the player. Now we have the use weapon function on the weapon that we're going to use. Okay, we can if weapon dot okay, so this is the emit that I was talking about, the use projectile. So I don't think there was anything being used from the weapon from that signal. Just for a little bit of context, in Godot, they say to call down. So in classes that you're using within other classes, you will call their functions. But then if you want to go the opposite direction, you signal up. And so that's what you have to like connect those signals to the parent class. And that's what I'm talking about when I'm saying signals. Okay, so we can still self.get. Okay, so we gotta do a little bit here. Because the weapon isn't guaranteed to have ammo count. So this won't be valid once we try to use something other than ranged weapon. So I guess we need to say if weapon is ranged weapon. And then actually these become if. Okay, if weapon.ammo magazine is less than 1. Okay, great. So we won't worry too much about the game UI for non-ranged weapons yet. This can probably be handled better. Emit gunshot. Where is that being connected to? See you, Distant. Thanks for hopping on again. You have a good night as well. You're welcome for the stream. Hopefully it was fun. All right, so I don't know if this is being used anywhere. Oh, no, it is. So actually, instead of calling it emit gunshot, let's leave it for now, but we'll say rename this to emit use weapon. Because we have to go update that in each of the zombie class as well, and I don't feel like getting too distracted. So, okay, we use the weapon dot.sound range. Does that still exist on the base weapon? It does, so that should be okay. All weapons will have that. Guess if it's null or weapon does not equal can I do that? Is not weapon? Or I guess it's not weapon is weapon. So if for some reason a non-weapon gets into the inventory, so let's actually print actually we don't need this. We can say assert weapon is weapon. Weapon that player is using must be a weapon. So we're just asserting that it is in fact a weapon, and we'll have all of the classes and functions that we are expecting from a weapon. We're almost at the point now where I think we can test. I think. Let's give it a whirl. I'm sure we're gonna have an error somewhere. So inventory still works. We assign a rifle. Oh my god. Okay, so reloading doesn't work, but shooting works. I was surprised to see that. Non-existent function. Oh, because we didn't update that in the player. Wow, did we? I can't imagine we got this like right on the first try. That would be crazy. Let's call this use reload. Use reload. What are you yelling about? Is it previously? Oh, okay. All right, we'll leave you as reload. Don't want name collisions there. Why are we doing that on the weapon inventory reload? Hold up. What is this? What? I don't think we need this at all. I don't think we need either of these. I don't think we need the shoot function, because that should just be on the weapon itself. Because we get the weapon from the inventory. So that's fine. Also, let's just assert weapon is weapon. Can't reload a non-weapon. Actually, as well, if weapon is null or not weapon is ranged weapon. because that's what we care about. You can't reload a non-ranged weapon. We're just gonna say that has to be the case. Okay, so actually, yeah, in the weapon, the reload. So in a ranged weapon, there is some stuff that happens with reloading, but not every. Okay, so I guess we do want to trigger the reload on weapon inventory because that's where our ammo is being stored. And we need to make sure there's equipped ammo. So I think we can delete this. I don't believe that's being used anywhere, but we do want to keep the reload. Let's just update it to use reload. And then that's fine because we're updating the ammo. And I guess actually, should we just do the weapon reload here too? Because we're passing in an amount, which means that we're like doing the calculation elsewhere. That really should just be happening in one spot. Okay, yeah, we're doing the weapon reload separately and then doing the reload in the inventory. So really, in actuality, the inventory should be controlling the weapon reload. So we don't need to pass anything in here now. We can instead say if self.equipped weapon does not equal null, or actually if it does equal null, then we just return from there. And here we say and then we can do what we're doing in the player. Hold on. Where we do this. So ammo added is self.equipped weapon .use reload. What are you yelling about? Get weapon ammo amount? Hold on. Oh, I think that's just the equipped ammo amount. What is this doing? Can we go to the definition, please? Yeah. Okay, so we can have a function on the weapon inventory that gets that amount. Actually, we should just be able to yeah, okay. So get ammo, get available ammo count. Just returns an integer. Pass this in here. If self.equipped ammo equals null, otherwise self.equipped ammo dot get amount. Oh yeah, because that's stackable. Okay, stackable inventory item. So then we have ammo available ammo. It's an integer equals self.get available ammo count. And then I guess technically if available ammo is less than or equal to 0, I don't know how it would be less than 0, but if it's less than or equal to 0, we don't really want to reload. Like, we don't need to. So instead we can say, we could just return if available ammo is 0. And then what was amount, sorry, in this? Hold on. Let's go back to the player. What is amount? Ammo added. I don't know what amount is. Oh, wait, no, hold on. What is amount? So if weapon or ammo is null, you can't reload. If the amount of ammo you have is less than or equal to 0, you can't reload. So, okay, I had this on the player somewhere. Hold on, let me go back a sec. Right, I was doing this on... Got myself all confused again. I will hop up maybe in like 5 or 10 minutes. I need to feed one of my dogs and take them out, and then that'll take me, 5 to 7 minutes, and then I'll be back. But let me finish this first. Okay, so we've got ammo added, which I think is just this amount. And we might, oh, actually, do we? Oh, I think I've been leaving all kinds of let's see, accuse the node to be deleted at the end of the current frame. When deleted, all of its children are deleted as well. All the references to the node and its children become invalid. Unlike with, if node is not deleted instantly. Okay, so there's probably a lot of places that I haven't been freeing objects that I should be. But we're not gonna worry too much about that right now. Let's see if that causes an error though for any reason. All right, so use reload on weapon inventory. So in reload, we actually don't even care about the weapon. However, we still kind of want to check that it's a ranged weapon before we reload, because we're emitting this here. So weapon inventory, use reload, and that takes nothing. And does it return anything? Right now it doesn't. And then we want to emit weapon.ammo and magazine. That should exist because we're checking if it's a ranged weapon, and then self.get weapon ammo count. Let's, whoops. I don't love this function. It seems unnecessary. It feels like it get available. Yeah, I think we can just use get available ammo count on the weapon inventory itself. So I think here we want to say self.inventory.weapon-inventory.get available ammo count. And that should be sufficient. And then we don't need this get. Okay, let's just update this here. Self.inventory.weapon-inventory.get available ammo count. Yeah. Do you want it bigger on, like, on the coding side of things? Oops. Is that better? Guess the Godot page doesn't need to be quite quite so big. Oops, hello. Why can't I change your size? No, you're just not gonna work? All right. I'll have to manually drag you. Is that better? Oh my god, what is happening? There we go, now you're working. For some reason, that's strange. Okay. Was that being used anywhere else? This get weapon amount. It is. Okay. Get weapon ammo amount. Why are we... Okay, whatever. I'm just gonna leave it for now, and then... What was that? It's better, but can be better. I mean, I can make it bigger, but that just feels really big. So I don't know. I'll try to come up with a solution, but probably not right this moment. If that is all right with you. I can actually just do that. Okay. Gotta do this here as well. Inventory.weapon inventory.get available ammo count. And then that should also be fine. Okay, is this being used anymore? No. So now we can delete this. Okay, I think we're at a place where we can test. So we can attach a rifle with ammo. Shoot once, reload. Seems to work. Shoot zombies. Oh, the damage now is like down a lot, so let me fix this. Because I think I put the rifle damage to just be 1, so let's update this to 5. So it's good that we're seeing that this is all working interconnectedly. Cool, that works. Let's just make sure if we go down to no... Okay, so we try to reload when we have no ammo, and that's fine. So our rifle ammo also got deleted. We can open up our dual inventory here, pull in more rifle ammo from zombie. Reload. Okay, everything seems to be working exactly as I would expect it, which is pretty awesome. Cool. So let's, at this breakpoint, go ahead and commit everything here. Make this a little bit bigger so you can see me doing all my Git stuff. Guess we can make this full screen because why not? So let's commit this. Added ranged weapon delineation and added generic functions to weapon and ranged weapon. Cool. Let's push this. All right. So I don't know how many people are watching right now. Let's see. It says I'm offline, but that doesn't. No. Okay. Wait, I'm offline on Twitch? That's weird. Oh, no. It says I'm offline. Okay. It says there's 7 people watching. I'm going to go feed my dogs. It's 5:25 where I am. So I'll be back in like 5 to 10 minutes. So feel free to hang around if you want. Otherwise, I'll be back on in a little bit. But yeah, see you guys in a few. All right, I'm back. Thanks for the patience, everyone. I imagine a handful of you left, but that's okay. You know, duty calls. You gotta feed your dogs. And when you stream right around when they need to eat, then it's just how it goes. All right, let's continue on. So I think we'd gotten to a reasonable point here where we have all of the weapon and ammo stuff working properly. So that's great. It's really great. So now the thing that I wanted to get done in this stream was adding a non-ranged weapon item. So we're going to create a melee weapon class, which does a lot of the same stuff as a weapon. We're not going to get too down the rabbit hole of art or animations or anything. We'll probably just reuse the same animations that we have for weapons for now, but we'll, you know, handle that later. So let's go ahead and make a melee weapon script. So this actually just take ranged weapon, and it's going to be a little different, but some of it functionally will be the same. Can we open it up? So melee weapon, we don't need a magazine size, we don't need ammo and magazine, we don't need compatible ammo. Just making sure my one dog isn't eating my other dog's food. Okay, so we've got to use weapon. It's going to be exactly the same. Don't need to handle ammo and magazine. And then use reload doesn't actually need to do anything either. We can just return 0. So we don't need ammo available. Is this gonna yell? Yes, because it doesn't have the same definition. That's fine, we just won't use it. We don't need is ammo compatible and can use weapon. I don't even know where that would be used. Isn't necessary. And great, so we've got a melee weapon. Oops, Siri, I do not, go away, Siri. So the melee weapon's quite straightforward. Get rid of that real quick. Get rid of that. These. Okay, so the damage, weapon range, and sound range are all on the base weapon class. So let's go ahead and make a, let's give ourselves a sword. And I'll make different folders for these weapons later, but the sword is going to be very similar to the rifle, except it's going to extend a melee weapon and be slightly different throughout the rest of it, but we'll go ahead and make those adjustments. So we don't need to initialize it with a type of ammo. We can call this sword. We'll give it ID 4. We'll need a better way to, like a better ID system. But we can always use the weapon We'll just leave it as projectile shoot animation for now because we don't... I just don't want to mess with that. And then we got the splash animation. We use the weapon. Okay, so damage-wise, let's say 2. The weapon range is going to be like 100. That's probably too far, but that's fine. And the sound range is going to be 10. It's going to be almost negligible. You know, you're swinging a sword that makes a lot less noise than shooting a rifle. Great, we got that. Now we need a... Actually, this doesn't even have... I don't think this is even being used anywhere, technically. So if I'm not mistaken here, we should just be able to add a sword weapon to our inventory. Hold on. This needs class name sword. Sword equals sword.new. And if we create a stackable item, well, why did I do camel case for all these? My JavaScript was showing there. Stackable item. Let's update this real quick. Okay. Our stackable item 6 equals stackable inventory item dot new sword, and you have one of those. So now we can add that to our inventory so we can equip it. Stackable item 6. And now I think we should be able to see it. So we've got a sword. It's not going to have compatible ammo, so this shouldn't theoretically make any difference. Okay, so you can see this little animation happening. We have no idea how far it's going because we don't have any zombies near us, so let's go find one. Wow, let me start a new game because this save file is atrocious. There we go. All right. So we've got our sword here. Okay, so it hits there, it hits there, it hits there, it hits there. Okay, so 100 is actually pretty far away. And we can kill it. So that's obviously 100's way too far. Is there... Okay, so it's hitting all the way even out there. Is it hitting all the way? Okay, so we're not respecting the weapon range somewhere, and I assume it's happening down here. This weapon range even being used anywhere? No, it's not. So where are we? What is max distance? Ah, okay, so we never started respecting this. So we want to do times self.weapon range. So that should allow us to... Okay, we're swinging, shooting. We're swinging, and a distance of 100 is... Okay, so it's like close-ish. It's probably a fine enough range for now to just like mess around and test with it. Honestly, it should be a little further, I think. 100's kind of close. So let's do 150. And I think we probably want to add some kind of knockback. That's like, you know, for the purposes of a game, that should be perfectly fine. Cool, so now we added, functionality-wise, a sword, which you can like swing infinitely fast. So rather than doing the knockback thing right now, because that'll... Actually, maybe that won't be so bad. Just got to mess with some zombie physics and add a function to do that. Okay, so let me just make a note that we want to do that, and may or may not get to that in this stream. So add sword, add knockback. Okay, and then we wanted to, what was the other thing? Knockback and, delay. Add delay. So, you know, there even is a delay technically with, I guess all weapons will have some kind of delay between using it. So maybe we do add that here. Weapon delay, and we'll do this, we'll say it's a float, and I think we'll do this in milliseconds. So let's give a default delay of half a second, just because. So we'll say the getter, just return weapon delay, and the setter is weapon delay equals WD. So we need to get into something that I haven't touched in a while, but that's physics process, right? Because there's a delta that we can get from this. And so this delta is how much time has elapsed since the physics process was triggered. Or since the last frame, I mean. So I actually think we want a can use weapon function on the base weapon, and that by itself will just be related to the weapon delay. So basically what we need to do is set a flag to true when we use a weapon. After a certain amount of time has passed, we will set it to false. And then can use weapon is just based on that value. So what do we want to name this? I guess we'll just call this, oh, actually we don't even need a function. We can just, okay, so we'll have a getter and a setter for this as well. So Boolean equals true. The getter is return can use weapon, and the setter is just a simple can use weapon equals C. So we'll say I guess then we need to add another variable called weapon timer, which is a float that equals 0. We'll have a getter, weapon timer, and a setter. And so in physics process, if not can use weapon, so basically we only care about this if the weapon was just used. So in use weapon here, we'll say self dot can use weapon equals well, actually we'll do that at the end. Actually, is there a reason why the weapon wouldn't have been used at that point? I think we can safely say that the weapon was used if we got all the way to that point. And we'll say if not can use weapon, self.can use weapon, return. Okay, so this is where intersection could be null and success is false. And are we checking for that anywhere? Yeah, if intersection isn't null, and then on the player, use weapon. ChatGPT made you a sorting algorithm. What sorting algorithm did it make you? So, okay, so there is going to be a return value from weapon.useWeapon. And what are you yelling about now? Oh. It's fine. What are you yelling about now? Cannot resolve superclass inheritance from a weapon. Uh-oh. Is that because of physics process? Hold on. Oh, okay. I don't know what that was all about. Oh, wait. Actually, does it have a physics process? It might not have a physics process. It might be... Hold on. Called during the physics processing step of the main loop. Physics process. It is only called if physics processing is enabled. Actually, we probably don't care about... Okay, well, we'll see if this gets called. It may not on a something that just extends a node rather than a scene, but we'll see. So, okay, so if we have so result, so if result dot get success does not equal actually, is there a way to set a default value there? I think there is. Yes. So if success doesn't if not success, then we just want to return. We don't want to like emit a sound or anything. Okay, I think that's fine. That's a new algorithm that splits each place into a data set. So if you give it 3, 4, 5, it splits it into 3, 4, and 5, and sorts each one individually, then reconstructs the original numbers least to greatest. It's called digisort. .gd, is that a geometry dash reference? No, GD is Godot script. So the open source, there's an open source game engine called Godot, and that's what I'm coding in. And they have a language that that they've created just for their engine called GD script. So short for Godot script. So no, GD is not a reference to Geometry Dash, but it would be cool if it was, wouldn't it be? All right, I think it's fine to do this because we don't. Wait, shouldn't that be? Oh wait, if the no. That's fine. Wait, no one told you Godot is open source? Yeah, it's totally open source. You can Godot GitHub. You should be able to see the entire thing in GitHub here. 2D and 3D cross-platform game engine. Yeah, it's open source, so you don't have to pay anyone anything to use it. Completely royalty-free, maintained by the community, and is a really awesome game engine. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Where was I? I was in weapon, doing can use weapon. Yeah, unlike Unity, it can't just steal money. Exactly. You can obviously support the developers. I'm sure there's a way to do that. But no, by default, you do not have to spend a dime to use Godot. And that makes it pretty awesome. Not only do you not have to spend a dime to use it, forever more, you can use it and never have to spend a dime if you sell your game. Not only for using it, but also for selling your games. Okay, so if not can use weapon timer, self.weapon timer plus equals delta, which I think delta is in milliseconds, right? Delta should be constant. Param delta is in seconds. Okay, yeah, in seconds. That makes sense. Godot's language looks like a Frankenstein between Python and C++. That's pretty close. I mean, you don't have to do any memory allocation. Like you don't have to malloc or whatever, but there is, freeing data. But yeah, it's got a lot of similarities between Python, C++, and even JavaScript, or like any class-based language as well. Okay, so self.weapon timer plus equals delta. If self.weapon timer is greater than or equal to self.weapon delay, then we say self.weapon timer equals 0, self.can use weapon equals true. I think that's it. So setting it to false, we set it to true based on the physics process. So let's actually print out can use weapon again. Okay, so as long as our weapons call the parent's super.useWeapon function, which is required in order to get the hit detection, then we should be able to handle this properly. The only reason you don't learn compiled languages is because they're annoying to compile. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of compiled languages either myself, but that's mostly just because I enjoy writing JavaScript, TypeScript, and you don't have to do that in JavaScript and TypeScript. That's what I've used mostly in my career. Your English isn't Englishing. That's all right. I have the same issues at times. There's a time and a place for compiled languages. I think it's becoming less and less necessary for most applications. Most functional languages are good enough for like 95% of the use cases you'll have. It's only when you're squeezing out like, you know, ultimate performance from something that I think you should use compiled languages. But if you need to, you know, if you need a lot of performance, then use a compiled language. Okay, let's give this a try. Whoops. Could not resolve class ranged weapon. Oh. Can use weapon is not a function. Okay. So let's see. We have a name collision here. Wait. Okay, self dot can use weapon. So okay, well, we're gonna have to figure this out in a sec. Why has no one made pseudocode an actual programming language? Maybe it would be similar to Esperanto, having some Python and some JavaScript. I don't know what Esperanto is, but yeah, to me, pseudocode is like, it's basically Python. Because there's so many functions in Python that are just given to you for free. Yeah, I could do that, but I'm trying to think if there's a way I can reuse the just the variable itself and like add some functionality on top. But so actually, hold on. So that's specific to a ranged weapon. So ammo and magazine. So I guess it'll just be a I guess we can call it can use ranged weapon, which will also say if self dot if not okay, so if self dot if not self dot can use weapon and self dot ammo and magazine is less than or self dot weapon ammo and magazine is less than or equal to 0, return true. Cool. Do I have a Discord? I'm gonna put the ChatGPT sorting algorithm on random programming servers. I don't have a Discord. If I had a bigger community, maybe I would create one, but that hasn't even crossed my mind yet. Arsis. That is why it's useful to name functions and classes starting with capital letter and variables with lower. Yeah, I could probably have a better convention for variables and functions. I don't know if Godot has a best practice around that. I do know that as far as I've seen, Godot, people aren't using capital letters for like variables or function names. But I know that you use underscore blank for internal functions, but there's no like strict enforcement of like those kinds of best practices. CVG Studio says, hello, may I ask what game Klingle is making? Yes, I am not really making a game so much as I am building a playground to build out different features and test things so that in the future, when I do want to make a game, I know exactly how to do some of those things. So recently I've been building out UI, inventory, a weapon system. In this stream for the last couple hours, I've created, so I had the idea of a weapon, and then I created a rifle, and now I've separated out to two different types of weapons. So you can have a ranged weapon and a melee weapon, and so the rifle inherits the ranged weapon, which inherits the weapon, and I added a sword, which inherits melee weapon, which inherits weapon. So I have some functions on weapon that can be used for either type, and then some functions on ranged and melee that can only be used for those types. And so I'm adding a weapon delay right now, so you can't just like go crazy willy-nilly and like swing your sword like crazy. So I'll give a demo in just a sec for any new folks here. Let me just make sure I've done this properly. So we're all good now. Okay, can use ranged weapon. If not, so if that's false, or that is true, then return false. Okay, so I think that's settled. And now back to... Thanks, CVG. I will do that. But yeah, I've been streaming my game dev journey over the last few weeks. It's been really fun. Okay, let's see if this timer works. Probably gonna have a bug somewhere, but only one way to find out. Okay, let's get the sword in here. Does not look like the timer is working at all. So, whoops. Okay, we did have a bug there though. What is this? Non-existent function get in base nil. Oh, did I only... It's my, let's see. So that's returning... Oh, if not okay, so we actually need to return intersection. I wish Godot GDScript had strong typing for objects. They don't, but maybe they will one day. Actually, I could probably do this with a class, but I'll deal with that later. Okay, so that was yelling. That shouldn't yell anymore. Let's assign the rifle. So, oh, the delay. Okay, so the delay actually worked for the rifle there, and then it never unset itself. So it's just not working for the sword, but also the sword hitbox isn't working anymore. Oh, actually, no, it's probably the delay's just working for neither, but for some reason the sword has the animation happening. Because I'm not checking. So if self.can use weapon. If not, self.can use weapon. Return. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. I'm trying to stream every day and doing my best to do that at least for an hour or two. I don't know if I'll be on this weekend. I have a pretty full weekend, but going back to next week, I'll be streaming again. We'll see. Maybe I'll stream a little bit tomorrow. Okay, so the success of this is false. Okay. So if you can't use the weapon, don't play the animation. So we'll need some way to know on the user when you can use your weapon again, but I'm not going to worry about that yet. Oops. And we have an error. Weapon that player is using must be a weapon. Ah. So we don't want to actually assert that before the null, because then we'll throw an error when we try to use the a non-weapon. So we'll do that afterwards. Let's give this another go. Okay, so that doesn't break anything. We can shoot once, and that doesn't, then we can't after, so the delay is obviously working, and then you can swing the sword once. Okay, so as I suspected, we have an issue in the weapon physics process. I assume that maybe this doesn't have access. According to Godot, docs functions and variables should both be snake case. Just looked it up. Yeah, that's what I thought, and that's why I'm doing everything with snake case. But you're right, it doesn't really make it easy to tell the difference between a function and a variable. I guess though in JavaScript it's kind of the same thing. You do everything camel case, and you do like class names as capital, and then variables and functions as camel case. So I don't know. It's more than just Godot that has this issue. Let's see if the physics process works. So I'm guessing that it doesn't, which is why we're not getting anything. So we might need to instead just use process. I feel like we should have access there. So let's see. No, neither of those have access to physics process or process. Really? Call during the processing step of the main loop. Processing happens at every frame as fast as possible. Is there a free open source sorting algorithm visualizer that allows you to add custom algorithms easy written in Python? Are you talking about like I know they have, I've seen these videos on YouTube where like sorting algorithm visualized or something. Yeah, like these ones. Something like that. I don't actually know how this was built. I assume someone custom made it, but I don't know. I mean, there's Python like graphing libraries, so I'd assume you'd be able to do it with that, but you'd have to build it yourself. Like best data visualization library in Python. Matplotlib is possibly the most powerful. The gallery shows its power. Plotly, Altair, Plot API. So I think there's a bunch of different ones that you could probably use, but I don't know if there's anything specifically like you plug in an algorithm and then it does it for you. Okay, it doesn't look like we're able to, okay, when, let me look at the Godot process docs. 2 sets of processing available to you. Godot 4, can any script use physics process? Yes, any script can use it. Okay, what am I doing in player? layered for movement. Okay, so I have physics process running there. So I feel like I should be able to access it. Oh wait, I'm doing this in, no, wait. No, that's, I feel like this should be working. Oh, but I guess this is never, oh, it's never in the scene. It's never in the scene, so it's not gonna get access to this. Ooh, I don't want to couple this with the plague or... Godot, how to access process without being in scene. No. For accessing process without being in scene. Help processing the world outside of the rendered scene. I mean, I guess. Let me try something real quick. So in game manager, so this is a global. If I add a function here, like, does this have access to the physics process? Because if it does, I can skirt this by adding a new manager just for weapons. Maybe. We'll see. Okay, so print. This is being called. And this should get printed 1,000,000 times. If it works. Yes, so okay, so we do have access there. So maybe if we add a weapon delay manager. I don't love it. Let's just create a folder for managers and I'll move them later. But we'll create a new one called weapon delay manager. So this well actually, so what I'm trying to reconcile right now is the way I was initially thinking of setting up this manager was to just pass in the object that needs to be managed and then remove it when you don't want to manage it anymore. But this only works globally if you are using a single weapon. Using a timer for the gun delay. I don't actually know if Godot has timers. I think it's all related to the either the process or the physics process. Time-based logic. Oh, wait. After a timer enters a tree, it can be manually started with start. Oh, that might be super helpful, actually. I didn't even think about that. Timer node is a countdown timer. Okay, that's probably what I want then. So let's delete this. So instead of physics process, let's see how this works. Is there an example here? Yeah, they should have one. Yeah. Cool. How do I use this? Timer example. You create a timer in Godot. That's very bright. Wait, add child. I don't want to add it as a child though. Because what I'm working with is in a scene. You're a paycheck stealer? Are you vesting in peace? I don't want to add it to the tree though, because that doesn't actually do what I want. Without adding to tree. Is it possible to create a timer without a scene tree? There is no built-in super convenient way to do this that I know of. The best I can think of off the top of my head is to roll your own os.get ticks. I don't do that. Make global timer with single. Okay, I mean, yeah, I can use a singleton, but that's what I was going to do for the physics process. In GDScript, no. However, note that you can obtain a reference to the scene tree from the globally available engine singleton. Its main loop. Okay, so a timer could work, but that's I still have to, it seems like I still have to write a singleton to do what I want to do, and that's not what I'm looking for. Yeah, gum flavor. So you're vesting in peace. Are you the guy? I think there was a Reddit post recently that was like, I've been at Amazon for a year and a half, and I've barely done any work, and I was expecting to get placed on a performance improvement plan, but like no one's noticing that I'm not doing any work. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do that, and that's why there are layoffs, or part of why there are layoffs. But yeah, I mean, if it's working for you, more power to you, I guess. Okay. So let's go back and do that singleton approach that I was thinking of. Create new. So weapon delay manager. Yeah, the only way to use the timer is as a child. Yeah, I think that's the only way. Have I seen the video of the guy quitting his 500K per year job to create a startup? Insane. I mean, if you've made 500K a year for like 5 to 8 years and you've saved 80% of it or 60% of it, like that's a couple mil. And then, yeah, you can afford to start a startup. Oh, he only had it for a year? I mean, yeah, I think that's a little insane, but to each their own. To each their own. Okay, what are we doing here? Ooh, I think we want it tied to the physics process. And so we Jimshade, you're back after your prayer. How's it going? Get treat a I mean, maybe that would work. It feels weird though. I guess would I then connect it back to yeah. Or I thought I'd seen that in here somewhere as well. I guess do I just connect it? And but then how do I I guess I could free it. But it's all like at the end of the day, it's still doing exactly the same thing that the manager is gonna do. Because I still have to like manage holding on to the timer and then freeing it when it's done. So I think I'll just go the manager route that I was thinking about. Okay, so so we need a way to start the timer. No, what? Yeah. I just don't really want to like. I want to have a separation of concerns. I don't want the weapon base class, which is not meant to be like part of the scene tree, to have access to the scene tree. So it's not that it won't work. It's more, I don't want to get into forcing that to happen. Although, I mean, I guess theoretically I'm like dealing with this. I'm not really dealing with the scene tree. I'm just dealing with. No, I kind of. Yeah, it's not that it wouldn't work. It's that I just want to have the separation of concern. Okay, so let's just create a timer. timer equals timer.new. We'll say, does this get called on singletons? Am I doing that in like game manager? Ready? I am. Okay. So let's add the timer to the child. Or add the timer as a child. So start timer. I think we want to pass in okay, we'll say on timer time out. We'll need to do something there. So timer dot wait time. So let's add delay as a float. Wait time is delay. Timer dot one shot equals true. Timer dot when added to a scene, no. So I think we just want to do timer dot start. And so we want to timer dot connect timeout. Oh wait, I'm using Godot 3. This is a Godot 3 answer. I think because timers and wait, to create a one-shot timer. That's good. Use. Oh, without instantiating a node, use scenetree.create timer. Okay, actually, that's what this. Wait. No, I don't want that. If you do some process, more timers get created every frame. I just want a callback. I don't want to await. Okay, well, either way, let's just try this for a sec. See if this works. So we connect it to that when it times out. We start it. I think it should stop theoretically. And then maybe we can start it again. I don't know. We'll see. Let's go into project settings, go to singletons. The path is managers, weapon delay manager. Let's add it. Let's go back to weapon. Oh, right, and we need to keep track of the node. So when we call start timer, we want to pass in the node itself. So self dot node equals, maybe that might be protected. Trigger node. Let's call it trigger node. And then on timer timeout, so the let's call this timer node. So we'll just say timer node must implement timer ended. So we'll say self.timer node dot timer ended. We'll actually assert that self.timer node is not equal to null. Timer node must not be null. So we will get into wonkiness if somehow multiple weapons are trying to use the weapon delay manager. So at some point, if we have something shooting back at the player, for example, we'll need to rework this. And then we'll also assert that self.timer node.timer ended does not equal null. Is that valid? Hold on. Godot for how to check if function exists. If there is a reason, that has method. I guess get works. So self.timer node.get timer ended. I'll see if this works. Does not equal null. Timer node must implement timer ended function. Okay. So we will delete the okay, so we're gonna say timer ended. I don't think anything gets passed in. So void, and then we say weapon timer equals 0. Although I think we don't even need weapon timer anymore. So let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of all of this. And so here we want to say weapon delay manager dot start timer as in self dot weapon delay, and then self. And then we also want to set self dot timer node equal to null. Okay, this might be crazy. This might be absolutely insane, but we'll see if it works. Hey, it works. It actually works. That's crazy. That's okay. So now we'll need to show some way to on the screen to like say you can't use the weapon yet. Same with the rifle. This is working properly. Okay. Let's, however, change the amount. So rifle will say self.weapon delay equals, and sorry, this is in milliseconds, I'm pretty sure. Weapon delay is in milliseconds. Or no, in seconds actually. I did it! Yeah! Go me! Thanks for the help. With the idea of a timer. I think that was you. If it wasn't you, I'm gonna give you credit anyway. Okay, so we'll say weapon delay for a rifle is like 0.2. So So like 0.2 of a second. And then for a sword, say it's a little bit longer. Cause you gotta wind up. Oops, so we'll say self.weapon delay equals 0.4. Okay, so we should now see a little bit of difference between shooting the rifle. So yeah, that happens. That's like a good rate there. It feels decent. Although now, do we have another issue where we're actually doing the animation? It says we're using the animation, but then can use weapon is true still. But no bullets are coming out. Thanks for hopping on, CVG. Appreciate your help, and have a good rest of your day, evening, whatever time it is for you. Okay, I will be wrapping up soon. It's been almost 3 hours. Yeah, set up notifications to know when I stream, but yeah, I'll maybe be on midday tomorrow, midday Pacific time, so like 6 hours earlier than now tomorrow, but we'll see. TBD. If not, I'll be on late Monday. I have something to do most of the day on Monday, because I'm busy all of Sunday. Okay, why is the rifle animation not working? So this seems to be true too often for some reason. Oh, because it's not taking into account the ammo amount, which means, oh right, we never resolved that. So in ranged weapon, just checking on my dogs again, I realized it had been a while. I added can use ranged weapon, so I need to update this to self.can use ranged weapon, and I think that should resolve that issue. So let's do rifle. Yes, and then if we add more ammo, cool. And then we can equip our sword, which is slower. Oops, and I died. Game started over. So yeah, sword works. Rifle works. We got weapon delay. Awesome. All right, I will call it quits here because I've been streaming for almost 3 hours and I'm hitting my limit. So let's say git commit all, commit added melee weapon and weapon delay manager. Let's push this. And that's that. All right, thanks everyone for hopping on. Actually, I'll just give a quick demo of what we built today. So in the last stream, we added the ability to put weapons on the left side of the weapon inventory here. We need to make it a little obvious where you can drag these things. So I'll add a border next time. So last stream, we added the ability to do this and hook it up with ammo. This stream, we separated melee weapons from ranged weapons and added a new weapon called the sword, which you can use, doesn't require ammo. And yeah, that's what we've been working on. So thanks everyone that hopped on. Hope you enjoyed. I had a good time. Lots of people came and left comments. And it was fun. And yeah, like I was mentioning, I'll be on maybe tomorrow. And if not tomorrow, then hopefully Monday evening. And if not Monday evening, then definitely Tuesday. I haven't gone more than a day of not streaming in the last 3 weeks, so we'll see if my body lets me do that. I've really been enjoying it. So anyway, thanks everyone for hopping on, and I will